Hi, I'm Adam Smeester. Welcome back to Smeester's Corner. All right, today we're going to talk about why smart people believe stupid things. You ever wondered about that? The answer to that is tribalism. So we're going to talk about tribalism and how smart people can come to believe stupid things. So here's the thesis. There's an inverse correlation between ideology, how extreme your beliefs are, and IQ. As your ideology continues to get more extreme and more extreme, either on the left or the right, your IQ has to go down. Your IQ, like your reasoning ability, it has to go down. Think about it. Because the more extreme your ideology is, the fewer and fewer possibilities you can consider about why reality is the way it is. And when you start getting into those ideologies that have, we call them monocausal, or causes for the way the world works or society works, the more and more complexity you're blocking out. And it's just becoming more simplistic, which causes you to say stupid things. Because clearly you're not thinking things through. So let's get into tribalism and what tribalism is and what tribalism is not. This is according to Jonathan Haidt. So community, which is what we want, what you should be aiming for is community. That's based on common humanity, the common interests that you have, the commonalities. Tribalism is based on two things, a common foe or enemy, and it's based on differences. So community is when you're looking for the similarities. Tribalism is when you're looking for the differences or a common enemy. That's the in-group, out-group type of thought. Everybody wants to feel a part of a group. You want to have a group, you want to feel supported, so you don't feel alone, so you don't feel ostracized. Everyone needs to feel a part of a group, and usually we look for groups that we have things in common with. So we look to sports groups like sports. That's a type of tribalism. Music could be your group. Religion, politics, those are all things that we look for to find commonality with other people, which is fine. We're looking for common interests. When you get into those groups, also, one thing that you could have in common is based on where you live. So where you live, you want to keep your neighborhood safe. That could be a common interest. So you have community, right? That's what builds your community. And community or common humanity is MLK's dream. That's what MLK was all about. And that's what we should be striving for. That's what makes life better for us, is having common humanity. We have community with other people. You're not on your own. When you have that, you feel safe. You feel connected to other people, which is very important. So you don't feel alone. You know that other people can rely on you and you feel important. It gives you purpose. You can rely on other people to help you out whenever you're in a bind. So that helps give you a sense of safety. So that's common humanity, what we should be striving for. Tribalism, on the other hand, like I said, is based on two things, a common foe or enemy, and you're looking for the differences. Now, when you start focusing on a common enemy and you start getting into that in-group, out-group type of mentality, the more extreme your beliefs are that bind you to that group, the more threats you're going to see in the reality of your world. And your in-group will probably be very threat-based, which is the thing that binds you are trying to fight against the threats, trying to fight against the people who have the differences with you. Here's where tribalism can start breaking down and making things miserable for people. The more threats that you see, you probably get to a point that you start doing whatever it takes to eliminate the threat. When you get into that whatever it takes attitude, that's when you start saying and doing stupid things. Because the threat is so great, you will do whatever it takes. When you start saying or doing whatever it takes to eliminate the threats, there's no restraint. That's not good. And chances are, if it's an out-group, in-group that you're a part of, and you have your in-group and all the threats are the out-group, and you're doing whatever it takes, there's no restraint in your group. So there's no one that can press the brakes and saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. That was kind of wild. There's no one to do that. There's no one to push back. And that's when you start living in what we call a silo or an echo chamber, which is your group. You just hear and receive the messages that you already believe echoed back to you. There's all sorts of research that say when people start, when their in-group believes all the same things, and that's what binds the in-group gets more extreme. It has to happen that way. That's what happens. That's what all the literature says. That's what all the psychology says. You're going to get more extreme because there's no one checking you and trying to pump the brakes. When the sole focus of your in-group is to start eliminating and do whatever it takes to eliminate the threats of the out-group, your happiness is going to go down. Your anger and anxiety is going to go up. You're not going to be a very pleasant person except to the people in your in-group because they're trying to do the same thing. There's no balance of emotion because you are obsessed with eliminating the threat. And the only positive emotion you will probably get is when you think that you've eliminated the threat in some sort of way, which you really think that's going to happen? You think you're going to be the person to eliminate the threat, or it's going to be your group? So now your in-group is just based on finding ugliness. And that's what basically you're doing. You're just going out into society, finding threats or finding the ugliness, finding the differences, and trying to point that out and eliminate them. There's no common humanity. There's no community. It's tribalism. You aren't experiencing any goodness in your own reality, and no one's reciprocating goodness. It's just ugliness. And it's ugly because you have contempt or hate for the outgroup, and your in-group is based on hate. There's nothing positive about that. And when you get into the whatever it takes to eliminate the threat mindset, you've become a little totalitarian. And that's the story of Animal Farm, which is you've now become the thing that you're trying to eliminate because that's what you probably see the other side as, or the outgroup. And you've become the thing that you're trying to eliminate to begin with. That's the story of Animal Farm. If you haven't read it, you should read it because everything I'm saying is in that book. So tribalism is one reason why smart people can say or do stupid things. It's because they're trying to eliminate those threats and they're trying to do whatever it takes. So they'll say ridiculous things or do ridiculous things to try to make their reality safer from whoever it is the outgroup is. The other way in which smart people believe stupid things as it relates to tribalism is when it comes to social status. Because again, when it comes to tribalism, you have your in-group and you have your out-group. Well, if you have your in-group, you want to climb the social status of that in-group. So people, when they're trying to climb the social status of an in-group, will start saying or doing ridiculous, stupid things to show their commitment to the group. And you've probably seen that. You see what people say online sometimes. You're like, how could someone say something that ignorant or that stupid? Well, they're trying to show their commitment to the group. They're trying to prove that they're not in the out group. They're in the in group. They're trying to show everybody what group they're a part of. And so they'll go to more extreme lengths to show how they're committed to this group, whatever group that is. So that's like an extreme example is in North Korea when Kim Jong-il died, you had videos of these people at his funeral, just miles and miles of people lined up, just weeping and tearing their clothes and going crazy over grief. And you know that not that many people, because the guy was a tyrant, not that many people were probably that broken up about it, but they're saying and doing ridiculous things, going to ridiculous lengths to show that they're part of the in-group, that they're part of the group that, in this case, they have to be a part of, otherwise they'll get in trouble. But that extends outward to smaller groups. Then you can get to a point where your beliefs, especially political beliefs, become your identity. So whenever anybody attacks your beliefs, it's like they're attacking you, and you take it personally, the fact that someone doesn't agree with you or is trying to push back against your beliefs, and they take it personally. And then they get defensive. And when you get defensive, you end up saying or doing stupid things. But think about that for a second. What are the chances that all your political beliefs are 100% correct? Like in 100 years, when you go back and you look at what you said and believe, what are the chances that all of it is going to be 100% correct? Not likely. So you can have beliefs, but maybe hold them a little looser. They've also done studies on this when people hold very tightly to their beliefs and they're not willing to let them go. And in labs, when they start presenting these people who are very tribal about their beliefs, when they start presenting them with evidence that maybe they're wrong or evidence contrary to their beliefs, instead of saying, oh, that's interesting, tell me more about that, let me examine my own beliefs, what people typically do is they start digging their heels in and they believe their own beliefs more firmly. They won't let them go in the face of evidence that may suggest that they're wrong. So now the question is, what do we do about this? Okay, how can we cut down on so much tribalism? Or if that's you and you realize that you're in an in-group and you have an out-group and you've been clinging to these beliefs, what do you do? Because just stepping away from the group kind of sucks because then you don't have any community anymore. So if you are tribal, maybe take a break from social media for a while. That's probably fueling a lot of it. And you may wonder, well, what am I supposed to do with my time now? Well, that's part of the process. Take a break from social media, try it for a week, and maybe just start trying to connect with people over positive interests instead of all the negativity. Connect with people over the positive interests. Try to find something you have in common with other people that are positive. If you don't have any because your hobby is to go online and troll or say negative things or try to get the better of other people in conversations online, maybe the problem is you're not connecting with yourself and you're turning to the in-group because you don't have a connection with yourself. So the first step would be trying to figure out who you are. What are your actual interests outside of that belief or that group? Maybe get a hobby, connect with yourself, be alone with yourself, doing something positive with yourself. Try to love yourself. Then you can go and connect with others and they'll have something to connect with you about. And then you can start listening to people. You can start having some gratitude towards other people who aren't just like you, which is a good thing. So connect with yourself in a positive way and connect with other people in a positive way. Listen and have some gratitude for that. And that will help change you instead of being kind of ideological, miserable, tribal person. When you do that, the likelihood of you saying ridiculous things that can come off as stupid to a lot of people will go down. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.